She mixed it, baby.
Ma dotri hawn, dwi mo sôn am tygau Pam dwi'n deud bo fi'n eisio brawd Cadw gola dwylo'n llawn Nofio drwy casineb heb y boi dwi'n anghyflawn Isio cerddi chwyddo'n fawr Gwyliau fi fel round and round Life goes round and round Some of the biggest talents have grown up in the smallest towns You're only finding diamonds when your face is in the ground Grammy scenes means Grammy sounds Angan pressing dog of yawn Angan pressing dog of yawn
Can you feel it? Yes, there's something in the air regarding Welsh football at the moment. And for Wales women, well, they've got their eye on a very special prize, a first ever major tournament. They arrive in Llanelli tonight to face France in high spirits, aiming for that second place in Group I. And it could be a milestone evening for striker Helen Ward on the bench tonight and set to join the very exclusive 100 cap club. A big night for manager Gemma Granger too. A year since taking the reins, it's Wales against France, live from Parc y Scarlets in Llanelli. And just a quick reminder of how this group looks right now. France top seeds, unbeaten in this campaign and looking good for automatic qualification. Although a win for Wales tonight would really pile on the pressure. But realistically, it's that second place that we need to keep an eye on. Slovenia claiming it after an earlier win against Kazakhstan this evening, but Wales just a point behind. As for Kazakhstan and Estonia, well, they are yet to pick up a point. Hello there, yes, welcome back to Parc y Scarlets, and once again it's a bumper crowd to watch Wales women chase that dream of finally reaching a World Cup. Over 4,500 tickets sold, loads of bucket hats, flags, yes, they're all waving at us, and they want to win this evening, Nia and Katie, but let's be under no illusion, France, a formidable side in women's football.
Oh, absolutely. They're the third best team in the world, and in 6 qualifying games they've scored 37 goals, which tells us everything we need to know about their attacking prowess. Coming into this tournament last month, they played a couple of friendlies. They beat the Netherlands, they beat Brazil, so it's going to be a really tough test again for Wales this evening. As
for Wales, they've gone for the strongest side available to them, but there's one notable absentee from that starting 11, Kayleigh Green, suspended. That 4-3-3 formation they've gone for, what you expected?
I think it just shows the belief and intent that Gemma Granger has for this game. You know, we're here to compete and put on performance, and she believes her group of players can do that. When you've got the likes of Jessica Fishlott and Sophie Ingle in your team, you have half a chance, and I have fully belief that we can actually get something out of this game this evening.
Yeah, and there is a confidence as well in this squad that they can get to those playoffs. And that, according to Hayley Ladd, is fuelled by the optimism surrounding Welsh football at the moment. Are you feeling that, Nia?
Yeah, absolutely. It feels like a different sport in Wales now to what it was when Katie and I were playing. And, you know, a lot of that is the support they're getting from the association, but the media are buying into it, the fans are buying into it. But most of all, it's the confidence that they're getting from the performances we're seeing in this campaign and also the results that we've seen so far.
Yeah, over double the amount here this evening to compare to last September. That tells you a lot. Right then, you've met 2 members of our team this evening. Let's introduce you to another team. 2 from our team, starting with Laura Kenyon.
Thanks, Catherine. Yeah, and with Wales and Leicester midfielder Hannah Kane. Hannah, firstly, how are you? You've been out with that ACL injury. How's the recovery going?
Yeah, I'm really well, thank you. It's going really good. I'm super excited to have been able to come over this week and get some real good rehab in. I've made massive progressions this week, so I'm super excited, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing what the girls do tonight, to be honest.
And Gemma Granger says you still had a really important role to play within the camp this week. What's that been like, and how's everyone feeling?
Everyone's buzzing. Like, the mood is even better than last time I was on camp. I think the girls have a genuine, true belief that we can now compete with the world's best teams and potentially win. So hopefully we see that tonight. And it's been difficult being like around this because I really want to play. Obviously every player does, and coming in, like, it's been hard, but I've really enjoyed it, and it's opened my eyes to a lot of things. It's given me that extra bit of motivation that going through a long-term injury sometimes you need. So I'm grateful that they've allowed me to come and down and do that, and to be honest, I've just tried to support the girls as much as I can and just be really buzzing around them and give my belief as much as they have their own as well.
Well, Hannah, stick with us. We'll catch up with you a little bit later in the game. But now let's hear from Wales manager Gemma Granger, who's been reflecting on a pretty busy 12 months. Gemma, a year in the job. Congratulations. How have you found it so far?
It's been an exciting 12 months. I think reflecting back this week on the progress we've made as a team, as staff and players, we're really pleased with where we're at, and I think exciting and progressive really sums up our 12 months.
A tough test tonight against one of the top sides in the world, but how much encouragement can you take from the performance out in France in November?
Yeah, we take a lot of encouragement. We want to keep building on our performances. We want to build on performances game by game, and November gave us a chance to reflect on what we did well, and tonight we want to deliver our game plan, we want to build on that, and we want to make sure that we put on a performance here.
100 caps in touching distance now for both Natasha Harding and Helen Ward. How much of an achievement is that?
Yeah, it's such a fantastic achievement for those two players. We're really proud to, be with them in the team, the experiences that they bring, their passion, their commitment, and we're really, really behind them.
Thanks, Gemma. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's set to be quite the night for Helen Ward, and these fans looking forward to welcoming her to the pitch later on this evening, I'm sure. Yes, the mother figure of the squad, if you like. She's been around for such a long time, the evergreen Helen Ward.
And, it's testament to her that she's still in the game, nearly at 100 caps whilst being a mum to two small children. That takes a lot of commitment, dedication, sacrifices. She's missed her children's birthdays to play for Wales, and that just shows the type of person she is and player she is. And I remember when Helen Ward's come into the squad, we had that goal scorer, that natural goal scorer, and she's here 100 caps later, and that's just testament to her.
She's scored some really important goals here, and what's even more fascinating, she thought about retirement during the pandemic because of all the pressures on her. She was willing, maybe, not to reach this milestone because of everything going on.
Yeah, absolutely, and she's not at one of the full-time professional clubs like some of the other players, so really tough for her to have to train on her own, and after coming back from 2 kids, getting back to full fitness after anything is really, really tough. So she's absolutely in this squad on merit, though, for what she brings off the pitch and her experience, but also on it. To have a goal scorer like her on the bench, ready to come on when Wales need it, is huge for this side.
Well, Rob Page, the men's senior manager, is here to support Gemma Granger as Wales try and make it to their first ever major tournament. Zombie Nation is being played around the stadium. The fans obviously enjoying themselves. It could be quite the evening, but this will be a tough fixture. Let's go and join our commentary team this evening then, our former Wales striker Gwenyn Harris and our match commentator Simon Davis.
Thank you, Catherine. Well, we've been used to special nights in Welsh football recently. Is tonight going to be another one of those special occasions? Wales gave France a real scare in Brittany back in November. There is no reason at all, Gwenyn, why they can't do the same here at Parc y Scarlets.
Well, certainly, that performance was a very good, very professional performance, and very close, inches away from actually getting an equaliser late on. But as we've seen with France and how potent they are offensively, they punish teams. So it'll certainly be a huge test, but one that this Welsh team are ready to go with.
Well, France are top of Group I, and we should remind viewers that it is the group winners who automatically qualify for the World Cup finals next year. But a second-place finish for Wales would mean the playoffs, and that would be huge.
Well, it would be history for a Welsh side. Welsh female side never reached that position so far, so hopefully, some points today would certainly go a long way in trying to get us closer to that aim.
Well, we've witnessed the best of the red wall recently, and all generations have turned up in Llanelli this evening, hoping to see Gemma Granger's team take a massive step towards history. There is a feel-good factor, Gwenyn, about Welsh football at the moment. I wonder if Wales women can keep it going tonight.
Well, we certainly hope so. Just looking at the crowd, and the development in the numbers over the last couple of years has been outstanding. I know that a lot of clubs have brought hundreds. Mumble Rangers got, I think, 241 of their juniors attending. That's superb, and as we talk about inspiring the younger generation, is certainly on path to doing that.
Well, some of the Wales substitutes taking their places on the subs bench, including the 99 capped Helen Ward. hoping to become a centurion at some point over the next 2 games, if not tonight, and maybe against Kazakhstan. Umar Ohid has become a Welsh anthem for international football fans. Can David Ewan's anthem inspire Wales to another famous victory tonight? The team lineups coming up, that after the national anthems.
Just before kick-off, there will be a special presentation for Laura O'Sullivan, who recently reached the milestone of 50 caps for Cymru. Tonight being her 51st cap.
And warm applause for Laura O'Sullivan, who won her 50th cap recently. And there she is receiving this special honour, and it is a deserved honour as well, Gwennan, for a magnificent Welsh servant.
Yeah, most certainly, really pleased to see she being presented in front of these fans as well, something that she really deserves. And she's been a huge player for Wales. You know, you think back to that performance against England at Southampton. Hopefully she can have another strong performance this evening.
Please rise for the national anthem of France. Please remain standing for the national anthem of Cymru, the Red Wall. We lead you this evening. Sing it loud and sing it proud.
Fantastic rendition of Henwlad van Hadai. And Gemma Granger leading the singing there. Well, in the absence of the suspended Kayleigh Green, Granger has gone with arguably her strongest possible 11. Carrie Jones of Manchester United starts up front. Laura O'Sullivan returns in goal after missing the Republic of Ireland defeat in the Pinatar Cup. Hayley Ladd returns to the defence after that injury out in Spain.
We have the game. Enjoy the match.
Group I leaders France are ranked 3rd in the world and recently won the invitational tournoi competition 2 changes from their final game against the Netherlands in that tournament. PSG's Gras Gauro comes into midfield. Delphine Cascarina of Lyon is the other new inclusion. Well, like teammate Rhiannon Roberts, Kerry Holland is celebrating promotion to the WSL with Liverpool. 5 days ago, she helped the Reds win the Women's Championship title. And at 18 years of age, the highly rated Carrie Jones of Manchester United still awaiting her first senior international goal. Marie-Antoinette Katoto recently claimed a club record 132nd goal in just 148 games for Paris Saint-Germain. France tally just as impressive, 23 in 26 games. The match officials tonight are from the Czech Republic, led by referee Jana Adamkova, who officiated at the last World Cup in France in 2019. Close to 5,000 fans here in Llanelli this evening, hoping to see Wales cause an upset against one of the best teams in the world. And in a stance against racism and discrimination, players and officials take a knee. Solidarity shown there from both teams. Wales hoping to take a big step towards World Cup qualification. But my word, it won't be easy, Gwenan. Tonight they face truly world-class opposition.
Yeah, you're not ranked third best in the world for no reason. You know, this is a team that is, well, stars all across the pitch. You know, you've got to look at the starting team. 7 out of the 11 of the starting French team play for top 2 teams in France, and Lyon and PSG, who will be both facing each other in the Champions League semi-finals soon. So they've got big game players that certainly know how to perform on the biggest of stages.
Ball with Mbogbate of Lyon. And it is a team littered with talent. Renard, the captain, a mainstay at Lyon for so many years. Just when you consider that Wales had a really good showing in Guingamp out in Brittany back in November. I think Jess Fishlock hit the post late on. We all thought that Wales were onto something special, but it wasn't to be.
Yeah, just interesting to see how Wales have started. Obviously, we expect France to dominate possession. You know, I think they had about 69%, 70% of possession in the reverse fixture, and I think you'll expect to see similar figures. But Wales looking really organised, 2 banks of 4, and then Jess Fishlock just playing in front of that midfield with Carrie Jones with the hard task of if she can get into the game, trying to hold the ball up and be some sort of a platform for the rest of the team.
Fishlock for the run of Holland up against Mbogbate. Well, Holland has gone to ground, and the Czech referee not willing to give a free kick to Wales there.
You can see exactly what Kerry Holland is trying to do there. Actually, she's trying to take that first touch across the defender, Mbappe, just to try and get her body in the way and try and get a foul. But obviously, just the bounce of the ball and the experience then of Mbappe.
Harding, going to close down. Ashawi. Renard. Chased by Carrie Jones. There's no Kaylee Green this evening. Suspended. And Carrie Jones, what an opportunity for her this evening. Highly rated at Manchester United. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the men's manager there. He often said that she was his favourite player. Which is saying something, because his daughter played for Manchester United as well. France on the attack. Diani has made the run. It is Parisset. Diani, who scored against Wales, came back in November up against Rowe and has beaten Rowe. Well, a heavy cross. Kashawi could still get on the end of it, but early on we're seeing this useful French attack. Rhiannon Roberts helping it back to O'Sullivan.
Yeah, and just seeing, you know, the pace that these French forwards have got. Here's a real threat. Rachel Rowe will not want to be get twisted and turned inside and out and then beaten on the outside like that. However, you know, the defence did well. They were well organised, body shapes correct in being able to see the ball and the player coming across.
Fishlock beaten to the header, goes to ground and was fouled. Renard's shrugging her shoulders, perhaps thinking that it was a 50-50 challenge and she had the right to go for it, but there was contact.
There was contact. I think it is a little bit unfair. I think she did win the ball. However, you know, those two have been teammates. Fishlock knows the strengths of Renard, and you know, she didn't play in the reverse fixture. What a player to bring back in, you know, over 120 caps, and that experience will be vital.
Harry James over the ball. It's too close to the goalkeeper and not enough for Gemma Evans to get on the end of. Pero Magnon getting there first. Be interested to see how Wales approach this. The French so adept on the floor, every single one of their players fully capable of pinging passes left, right and centre. Wales are going to have to work hard this evening, Gwenan.
Yeah, of course, and stay disciplined as well within these shapes, these two banks of four. You can see the perfect positioning by Sophie Ingle, and then looking to counter in those spaces between the full-backs and the centre-halves. France will push their full-backs forward at every opportunity, and there's definitely spaces there if Wales can stay compact like they were, pick off those passes, especially Sophie Ingle and Hannah James, and then look to counter the Carrie Jones. Will be working extremely hard and running those channels this evening.
Pero Magnon, Renard, a one-club player in every sense of the word, as a legend at Lyon. Let's pass out to Cascarino, supported by Kashawi. Ingle get hold of the ball here. Rowe with the header away. Here's Parisset. Diani just trying to poke it through. The recovery tackle from Ingle, and Rowe can start an attack going. You can see already the width that France possess and the quality in those wide positions.
Yeah, certainly, and the communication between the wingers and the full-backs will be vital. We saw actually the good and the bad.
Over the top, Katoto wants it, takes a first touch. Well, you have to watch her like a hawk. Her record speaks for itself. 132 and 148 PSG games. Kerry Holland giving away a corner.
Yeah, Gemma Evans played superbly up against her in the reverse fixture, but Wales just need to be a little bit more composed on the ball, keep possession of the ball.
Toletti back to Parisset. Easy one for O'Sullivan.
Yeah, just a couple of occasions where Wales have won possession of the ball back through their disciplined, you know, the good shape defensively, but then maybe just looking to play that, as I said, you know, looking to hit the spaces between the full-backs and centre-halves, but when the time is right, there's a time to actually keep possession of the ball and just get a little bit of a foothold into the game as well.
Land to Roberts, looking for Harding. Marked very tightly by Kashawi.
What is notable, Simon, is actually the pitch has been brought in widthwise and lengthwise just to frustrate France and to try and limit the amount of space, especially for those quick forwards, including Diani, who's on the ball then. We know how quick they are and how much of a threat they pose, so just trying to close off the spaces available to them.
Yeah, there's a noticeable line that's been moved. So it is a smaller pitch, but every single advantage that Wales can muster is important. Georo. Kashawi. Cascarino. Well, Roberts not giving any room to cross here. And Wales pressing hard. Players behind the ball as the cross eventually comes in, and the clearance from Gemma Evans was enough. And is this a sign of things to come? Wales pegged back here. Bilbao. Vicious pass, that from Renard. And Rachel Rowe with a header away.
Great defender initially over on the right-hand side by Rhiannon Roberts and Natasha Harding. Just that discipline, not jumping in, not being too tight, and giving an opportunity for the French players to skip around them, but obviously being close enough to stop the cross as well and frustrating them, so that's why they're having to go backwards then. Wales will be more than happy with that.
Well, France have scored a lot of goals, and that is not an exaggeration in Group I. 37 in total, a goal difference of plus 35. Consider that Slovenia scored 2 against France, which was a bit of a surprise.
Well, they needed a last-minute penalty in that game, didn't they? Just to get the win.
Of course, it does seem like a battle for second place for Wales, and that would mean a playoff position, potentially a 2-game playoff situation. That all depends on rankings, but I suppose, like Robert Page is thinking, let's just get there first, and that was what Gemma Granger will be saying. Here's Mbokbati. Good pressing this from Holland. Congratulations to and Rhiannon Roberts, by the way, for their success with Liverpool. It does seem that Liverpool's women's team back on track. There's Diani. Holland tracking back. And that is a good cross. O'Sullivan committed herself. Cascarino was just put off by Roberts.
Yeah, Rhiannon Roberts did very well. They just got her body in the way. You know, she's tall enough to be dealing. She's strong in the air. That's one of her main strengths. But Diani again causing a lot of problems down this right-hand side. It's Kerry Holland this time just trying to get back. Not quite close enough, but Rhiannon Roberts actually quite comfortably in the end.
Didn't take any risks, Rhiannon Roberts. Comes to the corner. Diani's header. Good collection from O'Sullivan, cheered by the Wales fans.
Yeah, good collection. However, if you see the replay of that, actually, Diani is completely unmarked. There's absolutely nobody near her. You cannot afford that time, that space, to someone of her quality. She'd probably had time if the ball was a little bit lower to bring the ball down and have a strike. You can't afford, against teams like this, to give them that time and space in the penalty box.
Fishlock. What she do for Wales here? Jones. Hasn't got too many options. Here comes Holland. Could fall to Fishlock. France all over the place. Wales can't take advantage. Oh dear. And Ingles gone down here, and this could be serious. Well, it was a great opportunity for Wales, and hopefully it hasn't resulted in a serious injury to Sophie Ingle, but she went down in a heap there.
Well, I'd like to see that challenge again, if I'm totally honest. The ball was there to be won at, but originally this is what I was talking about, the spaces between the centre-halves and the full-backs. Actually, Wendy Reynolds, one of the centre-halves, has been pulled across. The pace of Carrie Jones, and then just getting the ball into that danger area, causing problems. The ball was there for both to be won, but you can see the commitment of both players actually in this replay. Go for it. Sophie Ingles coming in.
Well, Toletti was hurt as well.
What Toletti did well there actually is she kept her foot down. She didn't show her studs at all.
There's a Welsh corner. And it comes from Ingle, who's back on her feet. Easy one for Peromagnon. But Wales getting forward.
Yeah, Wales have got a lot of pace. You know, they'll be, as I said, they'll be looking to exploit the gaps that France leave behind. You know, the willingness of Kerry Holland to get in there. Sophie Ingle from such a defensive position originally.
It's good work from Carrie Jones in that Hayley Green position. Cascarino up against Roberts. Shawi trying to find a way through. Every single one of those red shirts hassling French players. They know they have a shift and a half this evening. James is trying to prod it through to Fishlock, and it's those sorts of players that Wales will need big performances from tonight. Well, across the board, really. That's a lovely pass. Diani's onside. In towards that penalty area. Comes back to Toletti. Wales could breathe again. First from Katoto and then Toletti's effort.
Well, again, Diani down this right-hand side caused him huge problems. Wales are very narrow, yeah, and they're wanting to force France to play wide, which is what happened. But then that pass into... So Diani's drifted in from her position to allow Perisset to stay nice and high. But then somebody has to track that run because she's in spaces between the centre-halves and the full-back. And she actually just got through there, obviously easily, because nobody followed the run.
Katoto out to Cascarino. It's done well to get the cross in. Easy one for O'Sullivan in the end. And Rhiannon Roberts is down here. I don't think it's anything too serious from a Welsh point of view. I know the medical staff are primed on that touchline, but this is what you expect against top-class opposition. Big challenges, 50-50s that have to be made, and Wales full of commitment so far, Gwenan. There's that moment when Sophie Ingle went down. She didn't look comfortable, and there were moments, I have to say, we noticed in the actual warm-up where Ingle appeared to pull up, and there were a few members of the medical staff who attended to her. Did seem to be okay, but...
Oh, she's born and raised in Barry, there's no way. She's a tough cookie, a Chelsea midfielder. And captain of her country, obviously, it's such a big game. It would take a huge injury to force her off. The Wales have done well in these opening 15 minutes, as I said, just frustrating the French team. She'll have to be aware. I think Rachel Rowe might need a little bit more support down this right-hand side with the pace. Yeah, and the clever movements as well of Diani.
Perisset has called for it. Batty, though, need to bring the ball into the Welsh half. Diani intercepted by Rowe. Helped by Harding. And Diani continues her run here. And she spotted. Terrific ball. Diani! Oh, she hit the post. Well, she has shown her ability on this French right-hand side. And the danger not over yet. Diani again. She is getting closer.
Oh, she's definitely the threat, but that's twice now Tasha Harding's just given possession of the ball away really cheaply. And actually was guilty of not tracking back with the original runner of Diani. Rachel Rowe was further ahead of her. Just needed the communication. And between the both of them, I think she's actually a little bit selfish there, if I'm honest. I think she probably should have changed the angle, Diani.
In fairness, Gwen, and I did Laura O'Sullivan a disservice. It was a good save. Didn't hit the post.
Yeah, if I'm honest, you'd expect her to be saving it out of the near post there. Shouldn't be beaten from that angle. But it was a good save, good reaction save.
Well, the referee has blown up because Carrie Jones is on the floor here. And that's another Welsh player who could have picked up a knock here. And the medical staff primed into action. So that's Ingle, Roberts, and now Jones.
Jones has worked her role well so far. It can be frustrating, it can be lonely. I've played that role as the centre forward, especially when your main strength actually isn't holding up the ball, having your back to go. But what she has done well is when France has had possession of the ball, she's tried to work between the two central defenders to try and force them down one way, so that the angle and the position of how she's closing down the central defender with the ball is really important to the way then that Wales will press. So they all go across together because she's forcing them onto one side.
England 5-0 winners away at North Macedonia in Group D, half-time. But you would firmly imagine that they will go on to win that game. 0-0, later score between Austria and Northern Ireland, also in Group D. Of course, Wales eyeing that second place in Group I. Earlier, it was a victory for Slovenia out in Kazakhstan. And also in Group I, Estonia 1, Greece 3. It does seem a straight shootout between Wales and Slovenia for that second place. Harding's cross comes back out, Fishlock on the volley. Holland! Offside anyway, wouldn't have counted, but it just goes to show that Wales can threaten this French defence.
Well, for all of France's attacking prowess, they look quite fragile at the back. It's the third occasion now, I think, when the ball's come in. I think Jess Fisher has got a lot more time than she actually realises there. I think maybe her eyes just light up seeing basically an open goal in front of her. It's on her not so favoured left foot. And Kerry Holland obviously is offside there. She's not quite expecting it back. But I think Jess Fisher actually had the time to... She could have actually taken the ball down.
Well, we've seen Fishlock hit them from that sort of range and find the back of the net.
But that's twice now looking down our Wales's right-hand side. You know, they've caused problems getting that early cross in. And then you can see, you know, France are actually really struggling to deal with the crosses. There's two defenders and the goalkeeper for the second, third time now. Just not being able to deal with the cross coming in. Wales are getting good numbers in to support them.
Well, let's bring in Nia Jones. And Nia, Wales showing that they can cause France some problems.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was clever of Carrie Jones actually to stay down there. I know she took a bit of a knock, but it gave Wales a chance actually just to have a little breather, a little drink, chat to the boss, Gemma Granger, and straight off the back of that they look to hit France. And every time they're in their penalty box, happened twice already, they look dangerous because France are scrambling. The more we can do that, the better.
Here is Jones again. Good first touch. Looks for that near post. And Perro-Magnon, as Nia was saying, has got to be on her guard at the moment.
Oh, great first touch by Carrie Jones, and again exploiting that space down the channels where the full-backs left it. Good trickery to come back inside, quick feet. You can see what she's trying to do. I think maybe just needs to whip it a little bit more in front of the goalkeeper. So Tash Harden has made a good run across and get across the goalkeeper.
France free kick. It was won by Guerrero. Tug of the shirt possibly. But it is a chance for France to have a breather here. Wales with a series of attacks with food for thought for Corinne Diac, the French manager. This is dangerous, Gwenan, with the likes of that player Katoto in there. It comes from Toletti towards Diani. The clearance away, Kerry Holland. And the break is on again. Harding this time. And Carrie Jones. Well, her pace. And now Kerry Holland and her pace causing France a few issues here. And France are rattled.
Well, as comfortable as they are in possession, yeah, they certainly can't deal with defending or transitions from attack to defence very well at all at the minute. And obviously that will give Wales a lot of confidence.
Carrie Jones and Kerry Holland. Very dynamic pairing so far for Wales up top. Fishlock does well. Wins the ball off Guerrero and wins the free kick.
She is so strong in those positions, honestly. I know she's small in terms of height, but she's so deceptively strong and quick. She reads the play well, and then there's no way you're going to be able to get her off the ball, as we've seen the shirt pull, then just trying to get an advantage back.
Guerrero not necessarily in agreement with the Czech referee, but it is a free kick to Wales. And Sophie Ingle in deep conversation here with Rachel Rowe about where to put this. It is a high line from France. Floated in by Rowe. Evans with the flick on. And anywhere will do for France at the moment.
I'll be honest, I'm actually a little bit disappointed with that set piece. I don't think Wales committed anywhere near as many players as they should have. We've got Gemma Evans up there, Wales are looking to hit on her and play off her on that first ball and then play off the second balls. But there's 3 Wales players, you know, and you had 4 then just watching outside the penalty area.
Well, Wales have grown into this game, and in particular Carrie Jones as well. And here's Roberts. And Jones is free again. She's got options. Carrie Jones, oh, it's just behind Harding. What a shame. But she is causing problems, Carrie Jones. Wales have to be careful. Katota's onside. Evans working hard to try and track back and has done well. Has done very well.
Oh, superb defended by Gemma Evans. Katoto is such a potent striker. You've mentioned her goal-scoring record already. She does well to get back into that position and just leaning across to let her know that she's there and pushing her across, forcing the angle wider then. That was an opportunity for Wales.
23 goals in 26 caps. Toletti with the corner this time. Header away by Tash Harding. Another ball. Renard, well, Rachel Rowe got it caught under her feet. Katoto! Snapshot, and that was on her wrong foot as well, if such a foot exists.
Yeah, just a couple of occasions there's been one or two of the France players just free around the edge of the area. Good first touch to open up her body, and then the ball's actually just a little bit too far away from her, and that's why she's snatching at the opportunity then and can't quite get the connection. But just going back to that previous Wales chance.
Ladd with a very direct ball. Good goalkeeping. Pero Magnon.
Yeah, that previous Wales chance with Carrie Jones, and actually I thought she did the right thing. She changed the angle on the cross, but Tash Harding has actually made the run to the front post when Kerry Holland had already made that run. If she'd held her run, she would have been in then, because the ball cut back to her would have been perfect.
Gemma Evans, no messing. Safety first. Losses at the back for Wales so far. Well, we're looking at that clock, Gwenanne. We've only played 25 minutes, but it's been high-quality stuff from both teams, in fairness. And that's a good cross from Diani. Ingle helping it on its way to Harding. Fishlock first time. Holland is through. Keeper's come way out of a goal, and it was good decision-making in the end, although Rachel Rowe couldn't quite keep it in. But it is end-to-end.
Oh, the vision then from the pass from Fishlock. Good hold-up play by Tash Harding originally, laying off, and then the ball across there. Just a little bit too much spin on it, that's all. That's what took it away from Kerry Holland. But again, trying to exploit those spaces, as I've mentioned, numerous occasions already in this first half.
Renard from Bokbati. Again, played at a relentless pace. Cascarino making the run this time. Good play from Rhiannon Roberts to O'Sullivan. Calmly done. Little golf clap from O'Sullivan to the defender Rhiannon Roberts there. Bilbao. Ladd being watched by Katoto, and Ladd just tried to protect the ball there. Knew what was behind her. Hayley Ladd suffered an injury out in Spain during the Pinatar Cup. Always good to see her back. And was France under Corinne Diac, recently winning the Tournoi competition. Gemma Granger's team, of course, finishing 4th in the Pinatar Cup, although took Belgium to penalties. Ashoui has made the run. Here she is. Up against Harding. Well, France have not had it their own way. Yes, we've seen quality, and yes, we've seen chances, Gwenanne, but so too for Wales.
Yeah, certainly. As you said, just being patient in that block, and the defending, staying narrow, staying disciplined, and then looking to counter when those full-backs have got high, joining in with the French attack.
Toletti. Loose pass, Carrie Jones. The ultimate test of her fitness tonight, as she said, Gwenanne. It's a testing role, isn't it, playing that solo front position. Good play from Ingle, class. Absolute class. And in towards Holland.
Just need to look after the ball a little bit better in those areas, but it's hard in those positions because actually you've only got 2 players in front of you and you need a couple more options, and that's why she took a few more touches just to try and give herself, or open up the pitch a little bit bigger for it.
Good run from Perisset. Not a bad cross considering a position. Ball out to Toletti. Instead it's with Bilbao. Kashoui. Like to build up the play, not necessarily whipping those crosses at the first opportunity. It's lovely one-touch play, and Cascarino looking to get it in towards Diani. And Laura O'Sullivan knew where that was going.
What you would say about this French team is that, you know, they do remain patient. They're very experienced. In the reverse fixture, they scored goals late on in both halves. You know, and they are an outstanding team. Their setup, their national setup, is one of the best in the world. They actually, I think, underperform in major tournaments. You know, their best finish has actually been 4th in the 2011 World Cup. They've reached the quarters in the last 3 European Championships. You know, and for a team of their quality, technically, they should be doing better.
Play from Cascarino, and Roberts getting the important touch in. It's a corner kick to be taken by Toletti. Well, most of the French players, as you can see in shot there, they camped almost on the penalty spot. They've gone short. Decent cross. Renard. Important touch from O'Sullivan.
That was a good save from Laura O'Sullivan. I think she's actually quite comfortable with it, but not taking any chances.
Toletti again on the 5th French corner.
Height advantage there.
Renard with a header, 1-0. And the Lyon player found the bottom corner, nothing O'Sullivan could do about it, and France had the lead.
I said from the first set piece that there was a player unmarked, and we see it again. You know, France have obviously worked it well, but Wales have to be more disciplined in those areas. You cannot let someone of her quality have time and space, and you can see the quality of Wendy Renard in the fact that she actually heads the ball back down, makes it difficult for Laura O'Sullivan down into the floor, into that far corner. But you know, question marks over, you know, who was responsible, who was originally responsible for marking Renard, because that is too easy and it's not good enough at this level.
Terrific header, and Wales find themselves a goal to 0 down. They're described as an institution at Lyon. Wendy Renard, 14 league titles, 7 European Cups.
Well,
pretty much says it all.
Yeah, that's her 33rd goal as a defender. You know, I know she's got over 120 caps, but to be chipping in with goals, she's got a huge height advantage, don't get me wrong, but as I said, the quality in that header, you know, the composure to head the ball down into the ground instead of just, you know, back across the goal, which would have been easier for Laura O'Sullivan. I think Gemma Granger will be hugely frustrated with the manner of how we've conceded that goal.
It did come at a time when Wales were putting France under pressure on the counter-attack. All over to Perisset. The interesting thing now is how Wales respond. Well, let's ask that question, in fact, to Katie Sherwood. Katie, how do Wales respond after that disappointment?
I think, you know, the next 5 to 10 minutes are really important. You're most vulnerable after you've just conceded a goal, but like Gwen was saying, it's really disappointing to concede a goal in that manner. The most experienced player on the pitch, and we're not picking her up. You know, you can't leave a player free with that much quality in the box. She didn't really have to do much. She just had to direct the ball into the back of the net, and it came at a time where Wales were slowly growing into the game. We've had, you know, great opportunities down the right-hand side. I really back the pace that we have up front against their back four. But it's just a really disappointing way to concede a goal, and we have to bounce back now, stay resolute, and just slowly grow back into this game.
Yeah, thank you, Katie. from Katie and from Nia at half-time with Katrin, and Katie's right, 1-0 is still a slender lead, Gwenan. That's the positive.
Most definitely. You know, I was seen in the reverse fixture just how close Wales were from taking something from the game late on. They're just going to have that belief now, they've got to stay disciplined in these positional senses, but then remain composed when they've got possession of the ball, not giving it away cheaply like that.
It's given away, and Cascarino find room to cross. Roberts is kept on her very, very tightly as it comes back to Kashawi. Ball in towards that main striker, Katoto. There was a collision in the middle, but I don't think Toletti was looking for a penalty there as it rolled towards O'Sullivan. We'll have another look at it now, but it was certainly something for Carrie Jones to contest.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was just an accidental collision, but you know, the top teams in the world will take their chances, as we've seen with France, but their movement as well causes so much problems. So we've talked about the pace of Diani and Cascarino on the other side, but their movement inside also creates a lot of problems. So they drift in between the central defender and the full-back, which allows then the French full-back to get further forward. But that position's really hard to pick up then, and needs a lot of communication between defenders and midfielders.
Good turn from Jones. Trying to get the ball off Renard. And this is where France are dangerous. On the other end, Diani. It's the thing for Wales. And they do venture up on the other end of the pitch, though. Towards that French penalty area, there's that danger of that blistering counter-attack, which we see from the French, and here they are again. But it was a similar sort of game out in Brittany. Wales can keep it like this, then who knows what will happen. Diani, good first time cross, just wide from Katoto.
Must get tighter to Katoto here. You can't allow her to have that space. You see Hayley Ladd realising right at the last minute, I need to get closer to her. I can't afford to let her have a run up onto an opportunity, and just did enough, put her under enough pressure by the end, close the angle off.
Sullivan goes short, Ladd may go long. Again looking for that run of Jones. It's Harding's flick on towards Jones. And France more direct this time. Ladd has got to be careful, brilliant touch. Calm as you like. It's a shame that it didn't set up a Wales counter-attack, but wonderful composure from Hayley Ladd there towards Harding.
She's as composed off the pitch as well, honestly. She's horizontal at times, so laid back. But you can see, you know, and that's one of the main reasons why she actually plays as a central defender for Wales. She plays midfield the majority of times for her club in Manchester United. But she opens up the pitch, and she can open up the play for Wales so well. And there's a good balance actually between her and the Reading defender Gemma Evans, who's naturally left-footed on the other side.
Jones on the floor battling for it, does well to release Roberts. Could spin out for a corner here. And it's a throw-in, but it's a Welsh throw. Good play from Roberts. And that's got the crowd going. Nearly 5,000 inside Parker Scarlets. Roberts hasn't got too many options. Harding's gone short. There's Jones. Roberts tries it. Could go out for a corner here, no. Another throw into Wales. Rihanna Roberts can get distance on her throws, but as you say, with those tall French defenders, I'm not sure what would that prove, but
You know, she just needs a few more options here, to be honest.
And of course, there is no Kaylee Green, and in terms of an aerial threat, that is sort of a negative for Wales, not having her this evening. Parisset. Fishlock to James. Fishlock again. James. Ingle run out of room. And that releases Diani. Kerry Holland tracking back. Parisset. Well, we can't fault the work ethic from Wales in this first half, but there has been moments of quality, I think, that we've seen from France, which like this now from Diani. Towards Parisset. Batty. Well, they're passing with confidence now. Parisset again towards that near post, and Gemma Evans again with a big clearance. Fishlock tried the back heel. Long distance drive from Kashui. In fairness to O'Sullivan, I think she knew that that was heading over the bar, but still.
Well, they scored a great long distance goal back in November. As you said, I think Laura O'Sullivan was comfortable with that. Wales just failing to keep possession of the ball. Then, you know, when you can't get a foothold in the game, you know, the ball just keeps coming back, and it's really hard to defend against a team that's sustaining pressure, wave after wave after wave.
We're seeing a swagger from this French team at the moment, and that particular pass goes wide. Lots for Gemma Granger to think of.
But they just need to stay in it now for this next 5 minutes. Just make sure that Wales don't concede again. You know, and the most experienced players on the pitch, your Ingles, your Fishlocks, and Hannah James will be saying that. Just keep composed, keep disciplined, keep calm.
And if you need a goal, then who better to call on than your record goal scorer, Helen Ward. Could reach 100 caps tonight if she comes on. I dare say that she may well make an appearance later, but...
Well, as you said, certainly if you need a goal, there's no one better to bring on, you know, especially she works the width of the goals well. Maybe doesn't offer as much these days in terms of, you know, in the build-up play and running channels, but as you said, she certainly knows where the goal is. It's a great option to have off the bench.
Lovely turn from Gayoro, trying to find Cascarino.
The movement of those midfield three actually is really impressive as well. If the wide forwards stay nice and high and wide, then those midfield players, they'll always send one that will run in behind and join in with Katoto, or will pick up the space between the midfield, so Ankara James, just behind Ankara James, Sophie Ingle, and in front of the defenders, and again, it's a nightmare to defend against.
Cascarino with a first-time cross. And O'Sullivan taking her time to release the ball here. Jones competing for it. Fishlock getting further up the pitch. There's Diani with a turn of pace. Yeah, it was a cynical pullback, I think, from Kerry Holland, and she will be booked for this.
Yeah, frustration more than anything in losing possession of the ball. Actually, her body position when she lost possession of the ball, she just needed to be side on, put her body between the ball and the defender. And you can see then she knows, you know, just how much of a threat Diani is, and just trying to take one for the team, as they say, by given the little shirt pull just to give her defenders time to get back into positions and to set again.
Kerry Holland has been a regular starter under Gemma Granger. Toletti and Kashawi standing over the ball. It is the latter towards that back post and looking for Renard. Over from Katoto. Again, it's that aerial threat that France possess.
These set pieces are causing Wales big problems. Again, you can see spare players. Something that they need to certainly address, because it's pretty easy to see the height advantage that they have, but they're so clinical. You said Katoto, 23 goals and 26 appearances at international level is frightening.
Renard. Well, Wales happy to have France, happy to see France have possession in those sorts of areas, because they're not near the penalty area. And this is where they're dangerous. This is where they can cause Wales issues. Cascarina's done well. They're all queuing up. Toletti almost getting a shot on goal. Holland clambers it away.
Really good scrambling defence, we call it in rugby, I think, with Wales just getting back to make sure, you know, they could see that. And Kerry Holland, the ground that she's made up to get back into that defensive position, to cut that ball that was pulled back, really important, because Wales conceded late in the first half and second half against France in November. Need to ensure to stay in this game that they can keep it to 1 before the break, just stay in it.
Goal now would be a real blow to Wales, but while it's 1-0, you've always got a chance. Shawi looking for Cascarino. Roberts has done well to keep hold of that winger for most of this first half, but he takes a flash of brilliance and a decent cross like this to threaten the Wales goal. Good play from Diani. Perisset. Good reverse pass. Diani again, looking for Katoto. And Wales desperately trying to get it away. They do so to Rhiannon Roberts. Jones. Oh, there's decent vision. I think she saw the run of Fishlock, and a thumbs up from her teammate for that.
Yeah, just needed the composure. She actually could have brought the ball down there.
Your thoughts, Gwennan, on what you've seen in this first half?
Yeah, actually a pleasing performance. You know, again, frustrating France. Let's not forget, this is the third-ranked team in the world. You've got to look at the depth of their squad, the experience in their squad to know how good a team they are. They lost only 1 game last year, and that was against the World Cup winners in America. You know, they're an outstanding team, so we've frustrated them at times, and stayed quite compact, quite narrow. Force that out wide, obviously, you know, they're going to cause problems, but just really frustrating to have conceded goal in that manner with a, you know, Renard with a free header, back post from a set piece. That'll be very frustrating for Wales.
Well, it's only 1-0. Wales are still in this. France have shown quality, and they found the back of the net through their experienced defender, Wendy Renard, the captain, who found the bottom corner with a header. But Wales, at times, have threatened the French defence, and while it is 1-0, there's always a chance that Wales can nick a goal. Big second half to come. It's half-time here at Parc aux Scarlets, and it's Wales 0, France 1. Wales hoping to take a big step towards World Cup qualification. That is a good cross. Cascarino was just put off by Roberts. Here comes Holland. Could fall the Fishlock. Wales can't take advantage. Diani. Oh, she hit the post. Diani again. Here is Jones again. Good first touch. Looks for that near post. Bernard with a header. 1-0.
So France have the lead, and it's an opportunity for you at home to catch your breath, because Nia, it's been end-to-end stuff with both teams playing their part this evening.
Yeah, absolutely. Chances for both teams. I think France edged it in that first half, but Wales did have a 10-minute period around the 20-minute mark where they had France scrambling. I know they're probably not used to defending their box very often, France, but they really did look under the cosh a couple of times when Wales managed to get in behind. So that is what they want to be building on in the second half now.
You said there that France possibly edged it, and you said while we were watching the warm-up, they are looking sharp tonight, France, and they have been sharp.
You have to respect and applaud the team you're playing against. We said before the game, Wales are going to have to be really careful on the transition. That's how we conceded last time. But the game was very end-to-end. You know, we've seen Wales go from defence to attack and vice versa. But I think it was a pleasing performance. Goal aside, it was disappointing, but we frustrated France and we created some opportunities ourselves.
Let's have a little look then at the goal, because, Nia, I'm not going to repeat what you said here while we were watching the game.
Not before 9 o'clock.
I can't, basically. But fair to say you weren't impressed with the Welsh marking there.
I just think it's an absolute coach killer for Granger. If you're writing a game plan against France, the first thing you say is mark Wendy Renard on a corner. She's 6'2", an absolute goal scorer for France. As Gwenan said in commentary, 33 goals. And for her to be unmarked from this set piece is absolutely criminal. They're all looking at each other in the Wales box. I'm not sure if it's Harding or Haaland who's supposed to be picking her up, but you know, she's 6'2". She could have scored that. She was 5'2". It really is criminal marking for Wales, and a proper sucker punch, because they're usually very good at controlling that 6-yard area. It's just such a poor goal to concede for Wales.
She does show composure, though, doesn't she, to get that ball down. Let's talk about the France attack then, because they are causing Wales problems. Where are they causing Wales problems?
They have such quality on the ball. They can switch the ball from left to right and hit where they need to go. And what's happening is we're finding the spaces in between, and then we're allowing the crosses to come into the box. Diani and Katota, they only need half a yard in the box, and because our marking hasn't been great, we give them that half a yard, they're going to score. So we have to stop the crosses from coming into the box.
Katie mentioned Diani. She's been the standout performer in this first half across the pitch. The space in between Rowe and Evans, for me, between the fullback and the centre half, is a little bit too big. If Rowe can't get to her on her first touch, she needs to just stay in shape, or Evans needs to shift across, because at the minute she's dealing with Diani, but also Perisset is joining in from right back, and then you've got Toletti who's making a third-man run into those spaces, and they really isolated Rachel Rowe in that first half, and they look really dangerous down the right.
You mentioned that Wales purple patch, that 10-minute. They've had their opportunities, and I know you both actually have been pretty impressed with the pace that Wales have got up front.
Yeah, and that's how they're going to score. That would have been the game plan. They know that France are going to have the majority of possession, but actually they're looking to counter quickly from throw-ins, from free kicks, and down this right-hand side they've looked dangerous. This is Carrie Jones doing what probably Kaylee Green would love to be doing this evening, and running in behind, and this is what I mean. France look desperate in these areas. They're scrambling. This isn't the classy France we're used to seeing. They're not used to having to be defended in the 6-yard box like that, and time again Wales have tried it. They're trying to get early balls into the box, just unfortunately haven't connected with them quite like they'd have liked.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, are they missing somebody like Kaylee Green up front, or are we not seeing that?
Yeah, definitely. We are going to miss a player like Kaylee Green, because she leads by example from the front. But Carrie Jones, for me, has been the star player for Wales at the moment. She has no fear. And, you know, when you have that mentality, she has great pace as well. And France definitely have looked unsettled when she has the ball at her feet.
Well, at the moment, Wales have it all to do in the second half. Those are the views of Katie and Nia with me in the studio. Let's go and join Laura for some more reaction.
Thanks, Catherine. Well, Hannah's back with me. Hannah, your reflections on that first half. Disappointment at the goal, but perhaps positives to take from elements of that performance?
Yeah, definitely. The girls are working tirelessly out there. I think special mention to Carrie. She's absolutely working her guts off, and to be honest, I think we look really threatening on the counter, and I think we've had a few chances. We just need to be a little bit more clinical now. Disappointing for the goal. I think the girls will be disappointed with that, but again, they'll go back in now and they'll be talking about how they can work and do better on set pieces. Like the girls mentioned there about picking Wendy up at the back post. I think that's quite crucial, but the girls will look back and then they'll know what they didn't do and what they need to do.
Did you expect it to be as end-to-end as it's been?
Yeah, I think, like I said to you before, I think we know that we can compete with them and potentially beat them. We've had quite a good few chances in the first half. I was up on my off the seat, but yeah, I think it's been really good, and the fact that it is end to end, it makes it ever more exciting, doesn't it? So
One thing that's really struck me is even when Wales get just a sniff at goal, the noise in here erupts. What would you say to the fans? How important could they be in the second half?
Massive. Everyone always says they're the 12th man, and as you can see, like, it's absolutely packed and you can hear them, and they'll really, really spur us on in this second half especially, so I need them to keep going for me and the girls do as well.
Thank you, Hannah. Good luck
Thank
for the
you.
rest of the campaign. Back to you, Katrin.
Yeah, great to hear from Hannah there. Well, another bright spark who's come to the fore during the Gemma Granger era is, of course, Kerry Holland. And she's had quite the week, actually, with her club Liverpool, securing the championship title and promotion to the WSL.
Sunday was amazing. It was a surreal day, I must say, and I think you could see it full time, the emotion that from the scenes that have been pictured and videoed and put everywhere, I think. So it's one we've worked hard for all year, and it was just a great day.
In terms of your footballing journey, you've notched up quite a few air miles. Man City Academy, then over to Kansas. What was it like over in America? How did that shape you as a player?
Yeah, America was absolutely amazing. You know, I always say it was one of the best decisions I ever made to go out there and experience just a different country, a different culture, and I've made some absolute friends for life, and I became a bit of a different person as well, in terms of I got a bit of confidence in myself, and I think that's really helped me coming back here, and I've tried to just kind of take that and use it as much as I can to my advantage.
Holland, oh, it's in!
Your first Wales campaign, you featured in pretty much every game. What's it been like?
It's been amazing. April last year was my first camp with Gemma, and you know, I've absolutely loved being a part of this family, and I absolutely love coming on camp.
You've also got people around you like Jess, like Sophie, who are Wales legends. What advice do they give you?
They're so passionate about playing for Wales. I think that comes through every single time, you know, they put on the Welsh shirt, and I think for me as a younger player, I think just looking up to that and trying to replicate that passion that they have for the game, I think, you know, if I can get anywhere close to what they've done for Welsh football, then, you know, I'll be very, very happy with myself.
Yeah, you wouldn't bet against it. She's had quite the season. The crowd there looking forward to the second half, listening to the music here at Parc y Scarlets. Let's talk about Kerry Holland then. How much of a prospect is she, and how successful could she be with Wales?
I think, you know, she's really cemented her place in this team. She's come in and she's worked hard, and obviously Granger sees a lot in her. Her energy is phenomenal. You know, I'd love to see how many miles she gets in a game, but she's been promoted with Liverpool now as well, so another player playing at the top flight of football. And she's got two great managers in Matt Beard at Liverpool and Gemma Granger here, so I'm excited to see where her journey goes.
And another player, of course, with Liverpool, Rhiannon Roberts. How important is it to have both of those players now playing at the highest level, Mia?
Absolutely. I think that's why we're seeing such improved performances and results from Wales in the last few years, is because they have more players than ever playing in full-time professional environments, and those two players are, you know, the future for Wales as well. I know Rhiannon Roberts has been around it a while, but she's an absolute colossal rock at the back for Wales, often understated almost. And Kerry Holland, a surprise inclusion in the first couple of 11s, and absolutely warranted her place. You know, 3 goals in 5 games so far in this qualifying campaign, only 24, so she could be around for the next 10 years.
It is so good to see the future developing, isn't it? Well, before Gemma Granger, it was, of course, Jane Lidlow at the helm. And Jane is now the subject of a new BBC Wales documentary you can catch up on the iPlayer. And here's a little taster for you, reminiscing about some of her favourite moments with Wales.
Wales faced their biggest test, England. A team that hadn't lost a qualifier in 16 years. A team managed by former Manchester United legend, Phil Neville. The game would be played in front of 25,000 fans.
They were like top 5 in the world. We were 30-odd.
No one gave Wales a chance. They were something like 18-1 with the bookies. It was ridiculous how much of an underdog they were considered.
Wales had never even taken a point from England before.
I sat in the dugout for quite a while and just took in the atmosphere. Pressure, excitement, because I was excited for the game.
It's a good effort and it's a fine save. Here's Duggan, big deflection. Important save by Laura Sullivan. Stand back in. Oh, and it's over the line, is it? No! It's cleared miraculously off the line. Play on, no goal.
obviously I'd have a little look over sometimes at Phil, see what he was doing. They didn't obviously look particularly happy.
Gone for goal! Hits the bar! England fizzing a little bit. Can Wales hold on in the last 20 minutes? Coming on the inside. Oh, it's a brilliant effort! Wales have created history. It's the first point Wales have ever taken off England.
They were immense. The players were immense. Because we hadn't won, we'd drawn, but we all understood what we've just done. Yeah, and anyway, I just watched them for a minute. I don't even know if they knew I was watching them, but it was just, it was a moment that I was like, wow, that's it. I've actually got them to where I wanted to get them to. We haven't qualified. We'd literally gone, we can do this.
It's a great watch. Go to the BBC iPlayer and make sure you catch up and watch that documentary on Jane Ludlow. And yeah, we're celebrating the crowds here this evening and the performance by Wales, but the groundwork really done by Jane Ludlow probably and her team a few years ago.
Absolutely, definitely. Matakainen before Ludlow, and absolutely in that previous campaign. It's really emotional for us to see Lud so emotional there as well. Such a passionate manager that absolutely laid the foundations of what we're seeing now. That performance was a turning point. What we're seeing now is a result of actually, that was the day where these players and the association thought, do you know what, we can compete. And it gives you leverage to go in to Noel Mooney and say, come on, give us more. We're willing to give everything we've got. Give us more opportunities and you'll see the results. And we're seeing it now, and Granger's benefited from it now. But yeah, she's a fantastic servant for Wales as a player and as a manager, and I hope she's proud watching these guys now doing what they're doing.
I love the passion, yeah, and she came so close, didn't she, with Wales? Nearly got there to the Euros.
Yeah, and when you look back on those campaigns, she was actually really unlucky with how we conceded goals, and you see from that video clip how passionate Jane was. She was exactly the same on the pitch, and she wore a heart on her sleeve, and what we see today, she's played such a massive part in the progression of this team, you know, and the transition we've seen in Wales in general, Jane demanded so much on the pitch and off the pitch, and, you know, credit to her.
Credit indeed. Well, let's get back to this evening then and the game in hand. Just a reminder that Wales are a goal behind against France. Some other results from Group I. Earlier, Slovenia beat Kazakhstan by 2-0, so they are second now in the group. Greece beating Estonia 3-1. And in Group D, England beating North Macedonia 10-0 and Austria beating Northern Ireland 3-0. Right then, second half coming up, a big second half. Only a goal in it, and Wales will want something from the next 45 minutes. But I'm just wondering, when you need a goal, who do you call on? Do you go to Helen Ward and do you give her that 100th cap this evening very soon?
I think we'll see her in the second half, not just for sentimental reasons, but definitely if they're after a goal. I just think they need to tighten up in those wide areas a little bit. Definitely defend set pieces better, but if they can keep hitting France on the counter-attack, I don't care how good you are as a defender, nobody likes turning and running back towards their own goal. So the more Wales can do that, the more threatening they'll be.
Do you think Wales have actually got a goal in them as they come back out?
Definitely. I don't think we need to change much. We just need to be a bit more composed on the ball, stay resolute in defence. And when you have the record goal scorer on the bench, you know, anything is possible. It's only 1-0.
Gemma Granger's been saying that the performance is all important. Will she be happy except for the goal with that first 45?
I think she probably will. She probably won't be happy with the shots that France have had, but absolutely, they're targeting the top 2 spots in this group. It's not catastrophic if Wales lose this, but they'll want a good performance going into the Kazakhstan game on Tuesday.
Because that is a game they have to win, isn't it?
Yeah, they're the must-win games. These are the games that performance is really important, and then we look to those other games too.
Ladies, thank you very much for your comments during the half. A big half of football coming up. I wonder, can Wales get something from this game? Can they get a point, maybe even 3, and go up that table this evening? We are ready to go for the second half, so let's rejoin our commentary team, Gwennan Harris and Simon Davis.
Thank you, Catherine, and I wonder what Gemma Granger said to her players at half-time. Gwennan, we know from what we witnessed in November out in Brittany that Wales can compete with this French team, and with a scoreline at 1-0, there is still an opportunity to cause them issues.
Anything is possible when, as you said, the scoreline is still 1-0, and especially having moments in that first half which has caused the French defence some problems, and also those off chances and that late chance for Fishlock out in France. They have huge belief. That'll be in the back of their minds as a player when you're playing the second game and you've played that first game and you've run a team close. It does play there. It gives you that belief, that confidence as you go on, carry on later into the game.
An early free kick won by Fishlock, to be taken by James. It's a clever one in towards Holland. And there's time. Terrific touch from Kashawi. Ridiculous composure. Ingle showing her own composure there, and back to Renard, but as we saw in that first half, all it takes is for this French defence to be rattled.
A better set piece from Wales this time, and making sure that they're sending more bodies forward, joining in with that set piece as we see in the first half.
Kashawi brought down by Harding, or I think she lost her own footing there, but she's recovered. And we're hearing a crowd of just over 4,500 inside Parc Scarlets tonight. Will they be lifted here? Jones goes down. We'll look to the assistant referee for a free kick. Didn't get it.
Well, there looked to be a touch there, but the experience of Renard, just to know when Carrie Jones was just about to take that touch, just a little push in the back.
Diani, Katoto. Again, Gemma Evans with an important touch. If you had to pick out figures from that first half, who really impressed for Wales, Gemma Evans among them. Carrie Jones down the other end of the pitch. Kerry Holland getting stuck in as well.
Just how good is it, though, to see that, as you said, over 4,500. A lot of junior clubs bringing, as I said, over 100. I think I said beforehand, Mumble Rangers with 241 of their youngsters attended. Just the fact that there's 241 youngsters affiliated to the youth club is outstanding.
Here's Diani, terrific tackle again. And guess who? Gemma Evans. Terrific crowd inside the Parc Scarlets stadium here. All the bucket hats on show. Other hats are available, of course.
Yeah, you're a bit jealous of those bucket hats, aren't you?
Well, I'm more jealous of the person who thought of them. They must be making a fortune.
I think you need one this evening, Simon, if I'm honest.
Cover my bald head. Ball has gone back to Laura O'Sullivan, and I just wonder how long before Gemma Granger Gwenan decides to look to her bench. There is talent on there.
There certainly is, but I think it'll be a fair while if the scoreline stays the same. I think she'll be quite happy with the pace of Harding, Jones, Holland.
There is Harding. Lovely pass to Jones. Fishlock on the attack. James. And for Orlando Pride at the moment, enjoying life stateside. Evans has given the ball away, and Diani. Get forward, Katoto. Exchange of passes. Diani could rely on Georo. And Jones can chase.
Oh, she wasn't quite ready for that one. And again, when you play in that role as a centre forward, you cannot physically chase every single ball and run into those channels. Sometimes you've got to pick and choose which one. I think it's just asking a little bit much of it.
One thing this Wales team doesn't lack is spirit. With the passion of the likes of this player Harding, Sophie Ingle, with that clearance there. James and Fishlock, experienced players as well, who have all over 50 caps, some over 100, and that will play a part. Here's Perisset, nice pass to Diani. Well, they're surrounding her. They've done well. Holland, good breakaway. Diani just, well, it was cynical, and that surely has to be a card. You can hear what the crowd think.
Kerry Holland is outstanding there. First and foremost in her tracking and her defensive duties to get back. And then what she does well, she knows that's coming. And she did it half a second beforehand as well. She just uses her body to shield the ball and slowed herself down, knowing that challenge is going to come in. What that does then, obviously the free kick, but it just gives Wales a bit of time, get themselves out of that defensive position, a little bit of a breather from all the defensive duties, and obviously gives a platform to attack from.
Well, no booking for Diani, just a free kick for Rowe to take. To that penalty area, Fishlock, Holland takes on Toletti. James hurried into a pass there. Well, a rare lack of composure there from Anhara James. And what is Gemma Granger thinking, I wonder?
Well, there we go, we just heard it.
I missed that.
She's praising the players, well done.
And
It's better as well. Wales are forcing, you see from their positions from the goal kick, staying high, trying to force France a little bit longer, so not allowing them this time to actually play out from the back.
may notice as well Wales sporting new jerseys, wearing for the first time this evening.
Yeah, I think that's a huge step.
To have the women's own kit as well is a sense of great pride, I know, for the players.
Yeah, it's a huge step, and real credit to the FAW for that. It helps as well that it's a very nice kit. No, I've seen a lot of actually I've seen a lot in the Wales Austria men's game. A lot of fans wearing the shirt as well, so it's obviously very popular.
Yeah, that's great to see. Kashaway, that spectacular effort in the first half. Toletti skips round Ingle, skips round James. She's still going. Gemma Evans putting her foot in. And here's Perisset in towards Katoto. Well, a heart-in-mouth moment between Roberts and O'Sullivan, who grabs hold of that ball.
So she's such a danger, Katoto, and you can see Gemma Evans has actually been dragged out, one of the centre halves, just then down to Hayley Ladd. And I was actually watching Hayley Ladd. I wasn't watching the cross. I was watching her positioning, trying to get as tight as she could to Katoto, and just try and force something on that cross again. Gemma Evans dealt with her so well.
Here goes Harding, and she could get there. The keeper was hesitant, but in the end, Paramanyan read the long ball pretty well, in fact.
But that pass, that is always on that danger area, as we said, between the full-backs and the centre-halves, with the pace of Harding, Holland, Jones. They're going to cause problems. OK, it's not going to, you know, as we said, we're not going to dominate possession, but we'll utilise our strengths, Wales' strengths well.
Jones. Free kick Wales. Kashaway with a foul, and a rather foolish place to give it away, you have to say.
Oh, Cash Jones has done exceptionally well. Their close control is phenomenal, and she's playing out of her skin for an 18-year-old. And you could just see she's so tricky, and a cheeky little nutmeg there as well. So the delivery is spot on now. Wales have got a lot of numbers forward. I know that they work on their set pieces often.
And Harry James over the ball. There's a two-woman wall to beat. And a packed 6-yard area. What can Wales do from here? Oh, it's a cunning one in towards Fishlock. Well worked. Straight from the training ground, that.
I said they work on their set pieces often, didn't I? You know, and you could see just something creative again. See just Fishlock peeling off from the back of that little pack that had caused, but to be fair, well defended, well read by the French defenders, throwing their bodies on the line.
Oh, lovely touch from Cascarino to skip round Roberts. Kashaway to Letty. They're all lining up. Kashawi took too many touches, Harding gets it away, and the final ball over from Bilbao, high and wide. Well, France have had chances, but they're not taking them.
Yeah, but look at the numbers that are back defending for Wales. You know, and again, really narrow and compact, making it difficult. Katoto picked the ball up in a good area there as well. I actually expected her as a centre forward, when you're picking up a ball in that position, expected to run at the centre half, but she hasn't had much change out of Hayley Ladd and Gemma Evans so far. I hope I'm not putting the commentator's curse on there when I say that. They've defended against her well in you know, a game and a half so far.
How about that for a challenge on Jones by Mbokbati? Back on her feet. She's made of tough stuff, Carrie Jones.
But that's what you expect. You expect centre-halves to be coming through the back of you, especially against a player who's been causing problems. And obviously it is a tricky player running channels. As an experienced defender, you're going to put your mark on.
Driven forward by Rowe. Jones on the turn, playing off the last defender. Ball falls to James. All the way back to Hayley Ladd. O'Sullivan out of the box. Takes a touch. Oh, it's a mistake by O'Sullivan. It will be 2-0. And that may be game over. Katoto with the easiest of efforts, and Laura O'Sullivan was far too complacent, you have to say. 2-0. And that could be that.
That is an absolute sucker punch for this Welsh team. Like it has happened before as well. You can see how quickly she's closing down as well. You can't. Why do you need 3 touches? You don't need 3 touches there. Rachel Rowe is on in the first. In the first instance, Hayley Ladd gives the ball back. She makes an angle for herself. Then Hayley Ladd maybe needs to be a little bit quicker to give that angle. But you cannot afford to do that at this. And you know, hard to be critical of former teammates, but learn from your mistakes as well. I've seen that Wales against Scotland last summer.
Fishlock. That's the decision. Free kick right on the line. And maybe there is life in this Wales team. Well, Fishlock is screaming at the Czech official. She thinks that it's a penalty, and she's even pointing to a divot in the ground, but the referee was well placed.
Well, it looked close from up here. See it again. Obviously where she landed is where they're pointing at the divot, but it seemed like the original touch was just inside the box.
Well,
it's a close one. Where's VAR when
very
you need
close.
it? Where's VAR when you need it?
That's a very good point. No VAR. But Wales looking to get back in this. Will it be Fishlock? Will it be James? Both are capable. And a goal would raise the roof here in Llanelli. Fishlock waits for the whistle. It is Fishlock. High and wide.
Too close to the box there, I think.
Well, here's another look, Gwenan. Difficult to see from that angle, as that's obviously the free kick that went over, but
yeah, it's difficult to get from the free kick. It's difficult to get the ball up and down, especially when you've got players like Renard or Mbokbati in the wall. It means you've got to get it up even more to come back down in such a short space of time. But that was a tight call.
Well, you hope the heads don't go down now, particularly for Laura O'Sullivan as well. You know, it has happened before, but she has put in some really good performances for Wales of late, and that was such a shame. She's made some terrific saves tonight, but she will be hurting, I know. But that is a fine line in international football, isn't it? Making mistakes like that can cost you games. Well, at 2-0, Gemma Granger may decide to dip into her bench. Gwennan Harris, and if you need goals, then maybe Helen Ward will get her 100th cap.
Yeah, as you mentioned in the first half, she was such a great player to bring on, a great option to have. She was exactly find the back of the net.
Cascarino onto her right foot. Not a bad attempt at all. Lyon player, has been an international since 2016, made a debut against England in fact, and this wasn't a bad attempt. Yeah,
she's such a dangerous player, but you can see actually when she's dribbling with the ball there, the full-back, the original full-back, so Liverpool's Rhiannon Roberts is backing off, waiting for that support from Tasha Harding to get there, just to help her out. But then you can see Tash Harding just getting back into a defensive shape there, forcing Cascarino to take the shot from distance instead of actually running further out Rhiannon Roberts.
Ball to Harding. Well, let's bring in Nia Jones, and Nia, I'm sure your heart goes out to Laura O'Sullivan, but ultimately it was a huge mistake.
Yeah, it was, and nobody will feel that more than her. You could see it in her reaction. She dropped down to her knees as soon as it was rolled into the net, but you know, they can't dwell on that now, Wales. It's two really poorly conceded goals, but as a positive, they haven't been carved open by France for the 2 goals that they've conceded, so that's a positive. I just think the game's opening up a little bit now. France aren't holding quite a higher line as they were at the start of the game, so I'd like to see our midfield 3 get on the ball a little bit more and see if we can carve out some chances of our own.
Thank you, Nia. It's a free kick to France. See Kaylee Green amongst the group on the sidelines there, and here comes a change. Sandy Baltimore, another PSG player about to come onto the field.
Yeah, not bad, is it, when you can bring on players that are about to play in a Champions League semi-final. Lyon against PSG, big derby, big rivalry.
Just confirmation of that change. It's Cascarino going off and Baltimore coming on. Really talented player, Sandy Baltimore, only 22 years of age. And made her debut in the 12-0 win against Kazakhstan and scored on her debut as well in that game. And Cascarino going off, I think she can be pleased with her evening's work as well. There's a lull around Parker Scarlets after that second goal, and I think Wales can just lift these fans.
Yeah, they need the fans.
Set up a grandstand finish, Gwennan.
They need the fans now, actually. You can hear them starting the chanting in that corner. They just need that lift, you know, as we've seen in previous games. It's good to have the support here, as you mentioned before. I remember playing here 10 years ago, actually, Wales against France. Jane Ledlow header actually went in the lead. But I think there was probably less than 100 there at that game. You know, the difference that having the fans here makes is huge to these players.
It was moving to see Jane Ludlow getting emotional as part of that BBC Wales documentary coming up, and
she didn't know whether to laugh or cry when she scored against France here, to be honest, because it was so early on. About 4 minutes in, and we had to endure an absolute torment of pressure then for the rest of the game, and we actually lost 4-1.
Well, this is the Group I standing. Slovenia still have to play France, by the way, so that is a key thing. Wales have Kazakhstan on Tuesday, and then Greece away, Slovenia home. What a game that could be to finish the group.
Well, I think originally, if you'd have looked at the fixtures, you know, you would have always pinpointed those 2 probably against Slovenia in terms of the crucial ones. Nobody ever expected us to get anything from France away. possibly something from this game. There's still enough time. It's those games against Slovenia, and they are a good side. Their ranking doesn't do them justice. I don't think they ran France close. 3-2 against France. France needed a last-minute penalty, so.
We were all getting terribly excited, weren't we? When,
yeah.
It was at 2-2.
Certainly the support, of the Red Wall in September for that game.
Absolutely. We'll be live on BBC Wales. Well, went under big question at 2-0 down. Do they go for it, Wales? Goal difference in terms of placing in groups doesn't matter, but it does come into play in terms of playoff ranking. So it's a tricky question to answer, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think you'd expect. I think Gemma Granger will want to just try and keep it as tight as possible for the next probably 10, 15, and then definitely probably I'd expect changes then with 10 minutes to go, because as you said, having to go for, you can see that, you can see with Matthew Jones that just make changes then to have to force something, because obviously if there's no difference. But I do think that staying tight now for the next 5 minutes, there's still a few opportunities on the counter, especially with how forward they push their full-backs, France.
It's a throw into France, and Parisset to take. Oh, poor pass that from Bilbao. And game at a crucial stage now, 2-0, yes. It's not unsurmountable, but a goal could change everything from a Welsh point of view if they can just get up the right end of the pitch. Maybe you push someone like Jess Fishlock up a bit more, I don't know.
Well, she's playing in that, playing with 2 backs of 4, and she's playing just in front of that midfield 4. But it's just trying to get her on the ball. That's what Wales need. That's one of Wales' strengths. It's trying to find her in those little pockets where she can create and she can turn and run at defenders and cause problems.
No sign of Helen Ward winning her 100th cap yet. I say yet. Still a fair bit of football to be played here as Mbuk Bati gets forward, looks for Parisset. Qualified Diani, Rowe, Gemma Evans finds Fishlock. Well, the referee says no free kick. France play on. Baltimore. Just the step over. And just toying with Wales here. Katota with it back to goal. Could finish it here, Diani over the bar. Lashed at it.
Quick intricate play. 1 touch, 2 touch passes, and using their bodies well to shield the ball. There's only so far that you can actually back off a player when you're defending. I think Jan Roberts just needs to get a little bit tighter there, a bit earlier. Force Wales under so much pressure then.
Ball forward from Ladd. Jones. Watched closely by Renard. Baltimore. Optimistic ball towards Baltimore. Important touch from Roberts. Baltimore as well. Shawi. Here's Toletti. Crowd getting behind Wales here. And here's Fishlock. Up towards Holland. Rowe is got space. Early cross. Looking for Fishlock. Corner ball. That will lift this crowd.
You can hear it already. Great play originally. Carrie Jones is holding up the ball, bringing then Jess Fishlock into play, and good to see the attacking intent from Rachel Rowe at full-back, getting forward.
Only Wales' second corner of the evening. Needs to be a good one from Anhara James. Well, the referee has seen something she doesn't like, and she's got a card out here. Well, Bilbao and Fishlock brought across here, and she will receive a mouthful from Fishlock. All smiles in the end, but lots of pushing and shoving in there. James's corner towards Evans. Here's Harding. Roberts on the turn. Ingle deflected. 2-1. Wales are back in this. This game is not over. Just what Wales and Gemma Granger needed and wanted. And it's the captain with a captain's goal.
And they deserve that. You know, the attacking intent, as I said, to get forward, get numbers forward. Rachel Rowe originally winning that corner. And as we've seen, France are frail from defensive situations. Goalkeeper absolutely nowhere near that cross. And then Ingle just reading the play. Obviously a little bit fortunate with the deflection. But if you don't shoot, you don't score. And technically a great strike, as you'd expect from the Welsh captain. Head over, body over the ball, laces through it. And Wales are right back in this game.
That has lifted this Llanelli crowd. And here they go again. Holland. Second chance at it. Well, it's amazing what a goal can do. Wales are back in this game.
Yeah, and listen to the crowd as well, the difference that is making. The belief that will give the players that they've scored against France as well. So coming so close in the other fixture.
Ball brought down to Harry James. Sorry, to Rowe, who was brought down by Diani. That can mean a free kick, and that can mean that Anhara James could pick a player out here.
I really hope that good delivery here and put Magnin, French goalkeeper, under pressure.
James's cross in towards Evans. Could fall to Harding on the volley. Offside, won't count. And this Welsh crowd thought for a moment that it was 2-2. It was an early flag from the assistant, and Gemma Granger, oh, she thought that it was level. Just for a moment, Brennan, we thought that Wales had drawn level.
Yeah, it is quite close, but it is the right decision. She is just offside. But the confidence, look, the sport is about momentum, games are about momentum, and the momentum is with Wales right now. They just need to try and maintain these waves of attacks. I just spoke to Gemma Evans in the week. I was talking, I was fortunate enough to take my school team to watch training, but we were freezing outside, but they really enjoyed it. I was talking to Gemma Evans, and I told her to explain to her players about the feeling and the celebration for when she scored her first goal. And she said she had that out-of-body experience. Well, if she'd have scored that, I don't know what on earth would have been her celebration, if I'm honest.
Absolutely. Well, Wales have not been outclassed. France are a very good team, take nothing away from them, but they've been involved in a real game here, and it's not over yet. Jones wins the free kick.
Good hold-up play again, just as we said, using your body well, putting yourself between the player and the ball, forcing that contact, winning that foul, and again, as I said, just maintaining that pressure on the French defence.
There's going to be some changes from France, and that shows a great deal of respect to Wales as Holland goes in. Peramanian read it well. France are shaky. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, and the Welsh tails are certainly up now, aren't they? Well, they can sense it, but they do have to be very wary of the French counter-attack and the pace, as we've talked about many occasions already. And they're very experienced, they're deadly in those situations, they're so ruthless in attack.
Ball over the top for Diani to chase. Evans is with her, stays on her feet. You will never beat Gemma Evans in those positions.
That was really good covering defence, actually, because Rachel Rowe got sold and she thought the ball was coming short. Diani actually just spun then and ran in behind. A good movement initially by Diani, and good reading of the play by Gemma Evans once again.
Diani in from Perisset, and that will give O'Sullivan confidence as well. There's plenty of activity on the bench. And France looking to make a double change. Matteo and Dali waiting on the sidelines. Baltimore keeps it in. Lovely 1-2. Katoto looks for the return pass to Baltimore. O'Sullivan, big boot away. Toletti flicks it in towards Katoto. And Rachel Rowe just calmly leaves it to Laura O'Sullivan there. 15 minutes. What a 15 minutes we have in store. James. Here's Rowe. Looking for that run of Harding, who's picked up a more central position. Holland battling for it. Perisset with the clearance. And that will give the French time to make changes. Gwenan, how long before Wales do the same?
Well, look, the momentum is with Wales at the minute. I don't think Gemma Granger will be wanting to change anything at the minute. She's got full belief in her team and these players, and they don't look too tired either. You know, you've just seen Carrie Jones harrying there, Kerry Holland, great pressure to win the throw-in. Gemma Granger actually didn't make any changes until in the game in Brittany, until Kaylee Green was sent off, and then she only made one change, bringing on Fionn Morgan for young Carrie Jones.
Cara Matteo of Paris FC on, one of two players on. Holland working hard to try and get round a Mukbati. Throw in France. And Kenza Dali, by the way, the other player on of Everton. Let's go down to Katie Sherwood. Katie, it's all to play for.
Yeah, it most definitely is. I finally found some composure myself. That goal has definitely lifted, spirits on the pitch and off the pitch.
Thanks, Katie. Well, here's hoping that Wales can cause an upset, but Baltimore bombing forward here. It's opening up for her. And Rhiannon Roberts trying to guide the ball out. Dali. Decent pot shots in the end from Kashawi.
Joe, Rhiannon Roberts actually did really well in the build-up to that. Just the little tiny contact across Katoto before she was just about to receive the ball. So small margins making big differences.
Evans looking for Holland. Well, some of those Welsh players out on their feet at the moment. They have worked ever so hard.
Do you know, I don't think they are, Simon. I gotta disagree with you. I think that they still look like they've got, a lot of energy, a lot of things to bring to the team.
And the French just seem to have that extra gear when they need it. Although Baltimore's pass. Ellis Hughes and Charlie Escort warming up. Maybe that's an indication. Well, the fans having a good time, and I think Robert Page is as well. He, of course, has got other things on his mind as well at the moment. At least that playoff, which we think will be played in June. Date to be confirmed. Holland. Rowe continues her run. She's still going. Well, I think she was looking for the penalty there. But she's worked hard. Gets the ball back in towards Harding. And this is the danger. Ingle committed herself. Perisset has made the run. And just goes beyond the byline.
Yeah, I think personally she was. She's got good. Perisset's done really well there. She stood her up. She hasn't dived in against Rachel Rowe, and you can tell she was looking for it. Big 10 minutes ahead.
And the official attendance, 4,553. Terrific turnout. With the drive. Perisset, Mbokbati. Renard, seems a long time ago now when she scored that header in the first half. It's been action-packed. You cannot keep your eyes off this game. And Wales looking for the flag. It never arrived. And Wales failing to clear their lines, could go anywhere, deflected away. And Matteo had the ball caught underneath her feet. Here's Baltimore. Ball towards Matteo, tries to get the header, could fall to her. And Wales just need to clear their lines somehow. This is a sustained period of French pressure.
Yeah, twice the ball got into Carrie Jones actually, and it's come straight back. She just needs to be able to hold that ball up in that role, in that position she's been asked to play.
Baltimore. France just prodding Wales, trying to find that killer pass. Fishlock trying to get a foot in. Bilbao. Renard. Kashoui. Good turn from Baltimore around Harding. Lovely play from Diani, and the deflection goes wide. It ricocheted off Kenza Dali, and I didn't think she knew too much about it.
That was actually good defending by Wales in the distances that the distances between each other. So Rachel Rowe was close enough across to Gemma Evans and Hayley Ladd there to come across, cover the space.
And France pinging the ball around with confidence now. Baltimore threads it through. Look for the run of Kashoui. Out to Fishlock. Look, it's Perisset. The referee has waved the play on. Here's Holland. Jones waiting in the middle. Still with Kerry Holland. Fishlock just went behind her. Cleared away by Renard.
I have no idea why she didn't pull the trigger there. We've seen in the montage at half-time a really similar position where she's taken on the defender, she's driven out the defender, she's cut inside, and then just bent in the top corner. Just have the belief in yourself. She's had a superb game, Kerry Holland. Just see her here, just driving. That defender cuts inside, gets that half a yard. Yeah, I mean, you could see exactly what she's trying to do. She's just trying to play Jess Fishlock in, but I'd love to see her just have the belief in herself there to, you know, to have a go, have a pop at that far corner.
Well, Corinne Diac, the France manager, knows that her team have been in a game. Experienced international herself, of course, 121 appearances, a course of 12 years as an international player, and it seems as though she might lose Perisset here.
She hasn't been the most popular of managers. With some certain former players very critical. She actually left Katoto out of the 2019 World Cup, which was a big surprise, but she's come back with a vengeance.
James's corner, James's free kick, I should say, looking for Roberts. Out towards Diani. Ball to Baltimore. Engel with the sliding tackle. Ashawi retrieving the ball for the throw-in. I think taking her time, and you can't blame France here because this would effectively seal their qualification, you would think. Ball through the Fishlock. Fishlock! She goes down! Corner. Well, for a moment, Gwennan Harris almost launched herself off the commentary gantry.
Yeah, sorry, it's hard, you know, when you're a fan as well, but that is a superb covering tackle. She just reads it so well.
James with this corner kick. Well, there's a lot of pushing and shoving inside that penalty area. But what can Wales do here? Oh, it's got out. Just when you needed Anhara James to put in the corner of her life, unfortunately it did go out for a goal kick.
Yeah, that's really not like Anhara James. She's consistent, I would say. She's probably been one of Wales' best performers, if not the best performer over the last couple of seasons. So consistent.
Ball goes to Bokbati. Good play from Diani. And the run from Harisei is excellent. In comes the cross, cleared away by Ladd, important touch. Holland looking for Jones. Well, should Wales just go for it with the scoreline as it is at 2-1? Baltimore. Twisting, turning. Oh, it slipped through the fingers of Laura O'Sullivan. And luckily, it didn't result in another French goal. O'Sullivan to Ladd. Can Wales do it? That's the big question. Time is running out, Gwennan.
I really think they can, and I think the belief is there with the squad themselves.
Fishlock. If ever Wales needed some magic from her, it's now. Harding takes her time, puts the ball in. Over the head of Jones, of Holland, and of Fishlock as well. Baltimore. Bilbao. Matteo. As the rain is hammering it down. Bilbao. Decent ball in towards Baltimore. It will go out for a goal kick. And Gwennan, your player of the match.
Well, there's a lot that I could have chosen from. I think Gemma Evans, Kerry Holland have been outstanding. I was close to giving it to Sophie Ingle actually, but I think Carrie Jones, 18 years old, playing in that role up against, as you see there, Wendy Renard, one of the world's best defenders. I think she's been outstanding. Held the ball up when she's needed to. She's been a real threat, just coming into little pockets of space, and then obviously she's ran the channels so well as well. And the energy that she's brought to the side has been phenomenal.
Well, thank you, Gwennan. So, player of the match, Carrie Jones, Marion Torrent coming on, and Ella Palis also on as well. France is trying to run down the clock here. Is there another chance for Gemma Granger's team? Ball with Rachel Rowe. Harding. Back to O'Sullivan. Didn't reach Fishlock. Does reach Harding. Cheered on by this Llanelli crowd. Free kick. Well, it's a throw-in, in fact. The referee had given the former.
Fionn Morgan is about to come on.
It's time for this throw in. Rowe. Hacked away. 3 minutes for Wales to get what would be a spectacular point against one of the world's best. Ball goes out. Well, what a moment this is. Helen Ward joins an exclusive club. And before that, Fia Morgan is coming on for Natasha Harding. But you talk about Wales legends, you talk about players who've given it all for the cause. Helen Ward about to make it 100 and join the likes of Ingle and Fishlock. Not to mention Hennessy, Bale and Gunter as well. Long ball, Baltimore. Good first touch. Evans clears it away. Rowe just took it out of play. And someone you know very well, Gwennon Harris.
Do you know, I'm so pleased with her because she seems to have been stuck in these 90 caps for so long. I was there when she won her first cap against Luxembourg. We were all so chuffed that she left England at the 23s to join Wales, and you know, her record speaks for itself. Just so pleased that she's managed to reach this special landmark.
It is their time to mark this landmark with a famous goal. Well, France opted not to keep it in the corner flag. Diani. Oh, great turn. Diani on the turn. She is a talent.
So I could have given her player of the match as well, to be fair. She has been absolutely superb. Great turn as well.
Sullivan goes short. Ladd, it has to go up the other end of the pitch now, surely. Up it goes. One for Jones to chase.
I think when you said before about, you know, do you just, at 2-0, do you just go for it or you settle? Now you definitely go for it.
Oh, free kick. Ingle furious. And that will do France the world of good. They could just see out the game now. This probably will be enough to send France, you would anticipate, to the World Cup finals. Still further games to be played, but for Wales, as we always suspected, Gwen, and it is about that second place in Group I.
It is, but I honestly think the overriding feeling from this evening, if it stays like this, will be disappointment. And again, talk about how far Wales have come, but it's not about that anymore. It's about actually getting there, reaching, and taking these opportunities.
Roberts' free kick does eventually go to Fishlock. Claims of handball waved away. Rachel Rowe. Free kick. Well, the 3 minutes is up. The big question is whether the Czech referee allows this free kick to go near this French penalty area. Good defensive header away. That's a free kick, not the final whistle. And you can hear what the crowd think about it.
I think that's probably going to be the final kick. We only got to look back. You know, France a couple of months ago, we beat Brazil by 2-1. Two hugely close, competitive games against the team ranked third in the world. Shows how far Wales have come. They just need to take that step now, this next step of getting a result.
Well, no disgrace in losing to one of the world's best. Defensive mistakes cost Wales against a very talented French team. And Gemma Granger's team, if they are to qualify for the World Cup finals, it will most likely have to be through the playoffs. We always knew that to be the case. And on a rainy night in Llanelli, it is the team ranked third in the world that has seen off Wales. A good fight, but not enough for Sophie Ingle and her team. It's finished here at Parc y Scarlets. Wales 1, France 2.
So France take the 3 points, but this was the moment, the Sophie Ingle goal, when we all thought, can Wales get themselves back into this game? It was on the 70-minute mark. There was a disallowed goal 2 minutes later, but it wasn't to be for Wales, despite a harrowing performance. Look at the disappointment on the face of the players. That should tell you everything. They've just faced the 3rd best team in the world, and they're gutted, they're disappointed that they couldn't get a point from this evening. Right then, let's bring in the girls. Nia, I said there, disappointment on the face of the players, and there's no surprise because in that second half there was a big fight, wasn't there, from Wales?
Absolutely, I think they were the better team second half, and we say when you're on top you've got to score when you're on top, especially against teams like France, and they did that. And you said the reaction at the end there, the reaction when Wales scored, it wasn't celebrations, it wasn't knee slides, it was get the ball, get it back to kick-off, we want to go again, and that tells us everything we need to know now about this attitude of this Welsh team.
Yeah, it was character, wasn't it? A never say die attitude.
Yeah, and what I was most impressed with is we played these teams before and we tend to retreat when we're under pressure, but we were brave, we stayed high up the pitch, and that's how we created those opportunities. And to get back in the game, you know, it's credit to the girls and just shows how far we've come.
Let's look at the second French goal, because, let's face it, it was a mistake from Wales, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, and you know, these mistakes are so costly, especially when you're playing against such a top nation. We can see Hayley Ladd playing the ball back comfortably there to Laura. She has to do better. You can't take that much time on the ball as a goalkeeper. I understand we want to play out from the back, but in those situations you have to make better decisions, and she got to put her foot through the ball there.
Yeah, it's really demoralising for Wales. Katoto is such a threat, but this is the easiest goal she'll score at international level. It happens to the best keepers. We saw it happen to Edouard Mendy for Chelsea in the Champions League this week. But if you look here, for me, if I'm being really critical, Hayley Ladd and Rachel Rowe could offer an angle a little bit quicker than they do. If they know that O'Sullivan is a confidence player, she's going to want to play out from the back. Can they be sprinting into those positions to offer her a better angle? That's me being super critical. She still needs to do better.
Well, look, let's get some reaction from the players. Sophie Ingle is with Laura.
Sophie, the result not to be in the end, but shoulder to shoulder with one of the best sides in the world. How are you feeling?
Yeah, obviously frustrated. I think coming so close against a great opposition like France is, you know, where we want to be, and we're so close to, you know, potentially getting a great result against a top opposition. But unfortunately, to concede a set play and a mistake, you know, they're the fine margins at the top.
It is a cliche, it is fine margins, but you can be encouraged with that performance. And can you take some of that on to Kazakhstan on Tuesday?
Yeah, definitely. There's loads of positives from today. I think we were compact, we limited them to chances, and like I said, it's our own mistakes at the end of the day that, you know, we didn't quite get right. But yeah, many positives to go into Tuesday.
Sophie, thank you very much indeed. Rest up, and I'm going to bring in Gemma Granger, who's hanging by for us now. So thank you very much indeed. Gemma, fine margins, as Sophie alluded to there. What's your assessment of the performance?
Do you know what? I think when we look at tonight's performance, I think we've got to remind ourselves that we're playing the 3rd best team in the world. And we've really gone one step further than we did before. We've not only competed, we've threatened, you know, to win the game. We've had decisions that could have went either way, and when we look back at this game, it's a real moment for us, because we've got to believe now we're competing with top 5 nations, and we feel like we should be getting a result out of games, and we're disappointed when we're not, and that's the mentality of this group, and I think you've seen that tonight.
How do you pick them up now? Because everyone holds themselves to such high standards now, so there will be disappointment ahead of Kazakhstan on Tuesday, won't there?
Yeah, our standards are so high. These are the teams we want to play in tournaments. So when we step on the pitch, we play like we are playing in a tournament, and I think we wouldn't look out of place at a tournament, and that's what we've got to stay focused on. We have to take the belief from the game, and most importantly, we've got to rest and recover and take it into Tuesday.
Gemma, thank you very much. Good luck for Tuesday.
Thank you.
Yeah, the games are coming thick and fast. Well, we've got Helen Ward with us now, the newest member of the Centurion Club, if you like. First of all, congratulations on that. You had to wait a while to get on there, but a special moment in front of this crowd this evening?
Yeah, it's always nice, you know, an occasion like this to do it in front of your home fans. Obviously, the result at the end of the day isn't what we wanted, but the girls battled so well, especially in that second half. Just a shame we couldn't nick that equaliser, but really good performance, and yeah, I'm just delighted to get over the line and get onto that 100th game.
The girls, well, you as a squad, you really pushed them, the third best side in the world. We've just spoken about it, but there was so much belief in that second half.
Oh, there was, and you know, from what I hear, we could well have had a penalty, given a free kick instead, and obviously the disallowed goal as well from Gemma. But yeah, we really ran them close, and I think we gave them a little bit of what we know we can give, and perhaps they took us for granted in that second half, and we stepped on it, and yeah, so close to getting a real valuable point, but it wasn't to be in the end.
But 3 games left, and the ball very much in your court, if you like, because if you win all those 3 games, and they're not the toughest games left for you now, that's second place very much within your sights.
100%, and you know, this was always a bit of a freebie game, if you like. Obviously, we were coming here to try and get the 3 points, but in the way that we're looking at things longer term, second place was always our target, and that's, as you said, still very much in our hands, and I fancy our chances against any of the other teams in this group. We've shown how close we've won one of the biggest teams and the best teams in the world. Wasn't to be, but yeah, we're certainly confident going into the last 3 games.
100 caps, still some more within those boots?
Pardon?
Still some more caps in those boots?
I hope so, yeah, you'll have to ask Gemma, but yeah, I'm here and ready when I'm needed.
Well, look, Helen, congratulations.
Thank you.
Not the victory you wanted, but it's a very exclusive club you're in now.
Thank you very much.
Well done, thank you very much. Well, let's have a little look then at the table and see where Wales are at the moment. Obviously, no points for them this evening. Slovenia had a win earlier this evening, so they go second. But do remember that Slovenia, they yet have France to play. And the last game for Wales in this campaign will be Slovenia at home. That could be, we'll have to wait and see, a crucial one as we aim for that second place. Right then. As we've already mentioned, Wales, so much character in that second half, and it started the comeback, if you like, on 70 minutes. Captain Fantastic, Sophie Ingle, leading the way.
Yeah, and we said, you know, the game had opened up a little bit in the second half, and we wanted our midfield 3 getting on the ball a bit more, and there was a period of pressure here. We had some valuable set pieces. Ball comes back in from Harding off the corner. Swing and a miss by Roberts, but there's no person you'd want on the edge of the box more than Sophie Ingle. Such a technician when it comes to striking the ball from that sort of distance. She does really well to get over it and strike it hard into the ground. Takes a little deflection, but it's exactly what Wales needed at that moment.
And 2 minutes later, Gemma Evans, we're screaming here in studio thinking she's done it, she's got the equaliser.
Yeah, and do you know what a fantastic game she's had and a fantastic campaign she's had. She's very unlucky this evening for me not to get man of the match, but you know, we were all cheering. We thought that was, you know, our equaliser, but she has been outstanding this evening.
Yeah, and it wasn't just that goal that was disallowed. It was just offside. It's an all-round play tonight. Her passing out the back was brilliant. Some last-ditch tackle. She was covering for her teammates when they got sucked up higher up the pitch. Here, goal line clearance after O'Sullivan doesn't quite get it away. She was just outstanding. I think Gwennan Harris is a forward. We'll always give it to a forward. Carrie Jones was great, but Gemma Evans was outstanding.
Yeah, you mentioned her name, both of you actually, so many times as we were sat here in studio. Right then, let's look ahead to Tuesday, because we didn't really expect to get too much from this evening, but Tuesday, it's a must-win game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be a totally different mentality going into that game. Helen said herself, this is kind of your freebie. This is your test to see how far you've come in the campaign, but attention now turns to Tuesday. We expect to win. We expect to win in that game. And we might see different personnel on the pitch. So, yeah, really looking forward ahead to that game.
Are those games actually even more difficult because you know you're expected to get the 3 points, but actually there's a different kind of pressure?
Yeah, a little bit, and it'll be a totally different game. They'll have so much of the ball, Wales, compared to tonight, where they were trying to play on the counter-attack for most of it. But coming off the back of a performance like this, they'll be going into that thinking, look, if we can perform like that against the 3rd best in the world, we know we'll get chances against Kazakhstan. It's just about taking them for Wales. They always create under Granger. They always create. It's just about converting.
Ladies, thank you ever so much for your company this evening. We've had plenty to shout about, haven't we? But not the result we wanted, unfortunately, for Gemma Granger and the fans here this evening. But Wales, well, they go again. Tuesday, they face Kazakhstan. And that second place that Wales are really aiming for in this group, well, it's very much within their sights. They need 3 points on Tuesday against Kazakhstan. Hopefully, you can join us then. Until Tuesday, then, goodbye. What's that?
Wales hoping to take a big step towards World Cup qualification. Diani! Oh, she hit the post! Renard with a header, 1-0. Oh, it's a mistake by O'Sullivan, it will be 2-0. Roberts on the turn, Ingle, deflected! 2-1. Well, no disgrace in losing to one of the world's best.